Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Ravi Kumar Poluru. So today's topic is management anti-graphs. So yesterday we have discussed management anti-graphs. So the main use of these management anti-graphs, yesterday we have seen that the main first criteria is WBS. So we know that WBS is nothing but work breakdown structure. So what is meant by work breakdown structure? It means when you are taking the complex work or the criteria. So by when you are implementing the WBS, it will segregate, means it will be divide and conquer. It will be dividing the segments. So the large work will be divided into a small segments and assigning each and every module to the particular developer. So after completion of these all the modules, again it will be clubbed into a single unit. So it will be very easy to do the task. So here the large or the complexity of the work can be easily handled by using the divide and conquer method with the help of WBS. Okay, and also we have seen that software specifications and release. Today we are going to discuss about the software development plan. So in management anti-graphs, the software development plan is playing very important role. So accordingly, first what they have to do is, so we need to define the document, the project process, and the company has to take the contract. Okay, if any contract between the stakeholders and the management, they need to have some contract between, if applicable. If not, then they can go for the organization standard. So in these organization standards, they need to follow the policies. So mainly they need to have what are the different types of the policies, and they need to follow the procedures. Okay, these are the main standards when they are doing some software development plan. So here they need to follow the policy and the procedure, and also these policy and procedures should be along with design and requirements. Okay, it has to incorporate with the design and requirements, so that all the what are the consistently used, this can be implemented during the software development. So in this software development plan, mainly we have the two indications. One is periodic updating. Means we need to check that what is the periodic updations in the software development. There should not be any stagnant. So they should not stop the work where they have to. So they need to update each and every time what are the periodic updates will be happen. And also they need to understanding and acceptance. So they need to follow the manager's perspective as well as the practitioner's things, so that based upon the given suggestions of the values, they need to accept all this data, and they need to update the software development. Now we'll see how the software development plan will be performed here. Okay, so in this figure, so we have the in this diagram, so it is a software development plan layout. The first one is they need to verify about what is the scope of this software, to whom this will be helpful. So who are the target persons and what is the main objective of the software development plan. And the next one is software development process. So they need to verify about what are the different types of the process or the phases which will be affecting during the software development process. The first one is project primitives. So in these project primitives, they need to check that which life cycle, what are the different types of the life cycles. So whether they need to use the conventional or they need to use the modern iterative process. So based upon that, the life cycle phases will be defined, and also and they can have the different types of the anti-graphs, and they need to verify the workflows. Okay, and each and every time they need to check the checkpoints during the developing the software development plan. And next one is major milestone, scope and content. So here In the software development process, they need to verify what is the major milestone scope and what is the content mainly used for the software project or the development. And also they need to follow the process improvement procedures. So we have seen that each and every time they need to verify about the updations. Okay, and based upon the updations of the improvement, they need to check the process and how this data can be affecting to the software development. And next one is software engineering environment. In the software engineering environment, we know that we can have the different types of the process will be there. One is manual process and another one is process automations. Nowadays, more than 70% the process automations will be implemented. Why means, so when you are using the process automation, the work will be, the work duration will be minimized and it will be very cost effective. So here in the process automations, we have the hardware and software resource configurations. So there we need to verify about what are the hardware configurations as well as the software resource configurations will be affecting for the automatic process. And also they need to check that resource allocations procedures. So resource allocation is very important because when you are having the design part, we need to check that which resources we need to implement. Okay, what are the resource when you are not having the adequate resources, then it will be, the cost effective will be very high. Why means, so we need to wait for the resources. So that's why the resource allocation process is also very important here. So like we can have the sharing across organizations. We need to check that to whom we need to access the different types of the resources from one company to the other organization. And also we need to provide the security access. Security is very important because for each and every resources we need to provide the security. And the next one is software change management. So during while they're planning for the software development, they need to verify about the different types of the softwares. Okay, accordingly they need to update the different types of the software releases. So the first one is here the configuration, control, board, plan and procedures. So they need to check that what are the main configuration plan and procedures during the implementation of the software change. And also they need to check that software change order definitions and procedures. So they need to follow the different types of the procedures for the software. And the last one is they need to check that the configuration, baseline definitions and procedures. Okay. And the fifth point is software assessment. Okay. During this assessment, they need to check that the measures of the metrics, collections and the reporting procedures. So they need to verify about what are the different types of the procedures, how they're going to have the different types of the assessment for maintaining the software properly. And risk management procedures. So there will be some procedure risk management will be there, whether the risk will be low, medium and high. So they need to verify about what type of the risk identification it is, how they are going to tracking and how they can resolve this risk here. And status about the assessment plan. And finally, they need to accept the different types of the acceptance test plan here. And the next one is standards and procedures. When they're developing the software, they need to follow the standards as well as the plans. So based upon these policies and the standards, they need to do the software here. Okay. So that's why the standard and procedures for the technical anti-graft. So they need to follow some standards regarding the how they're going to do these softwares based upon the anti-grafts. Okay. The last one is evolutionary appendix. So here the evolutionary appendix is nothing but they are going to verify about what are the minor milestones. So previously we have seen that major milestone content during the first initial stage of the software development process. In the ending stage, so all the there should not be any major changes will be there. Only minor changes need to be there based upon the standards and the policy or the procedures while they are going to follow. So here They need to check that what are the minor milestone scope as well as the content that they're going to implement it during the software development. And also the last one is human resources like organization. So what the different types of the organizations are there, and the staffing plan will be there, and training plan. Because so each and every employee or the developer, they need to motivate to train for how to update for the skills here. So these are the main the typical software development plan for the developing the software. And next one is release description. Okay, in the release description, so mainly it depends upon the documentation. So when you're purchasing any product or the software, so first what we will do is we need to follow the documentation. So documentation is very helpful for the users when they're using the first time, or they're going for the when they're using the products. Okay, so release description documents describe the results of each release. Okay, so I have told that not even single company cannot produce the 100% of the software. So what they will do means, so initially they will release the software, and after that they're going to update the softwares like alpha and beta versions here. So that's why whenever they're going to release the different types of the versions of, okay, they need to follow the documentations. Okay, in the documentation they will give the clear idea about the each and every results, and also it will be impacting the performance based upon the evaluation criteria. Because whenever we are releasing the new updation of the software, the performance has to be improved here. So that's why during the release specifications, the performance of the software should be very high here. And next one is release baseline. So in the release baseline, it has to accompany with the release description document. So each and every data has to be available in the release description documentation. And also they has to follow the evaluation criteria, that configuration baseline, such as they need to demonstrate. So before delivering the product, so for the software development process, they need to give the demonstration of the software. Then they're going to have the testing, what is the accuracy and providing the performance. And inspection is very important, because while they're testing or during the demonstration, they're going to verify about what are the bugs will be result here, and they need to minimize the bugs during the demonstration as well as the testing phases. And the last one is analysis. So they need to analyze what is the impact of the software during releasing of this product or the software. So that's why each and every criteria has to be addressed in an acceptable. So while they're doing some demonstration of the software, they need to check each and every criteria clearly. And here, by using these documentations, we have some metric summary. So there we can have the quantity as well as the quality. So mainly when we are developing any product or the software, so the main criteria is we need to improve the quality. If the software is having the high quality, then so it will be impact to the market, and they're gaining more profit during the organization. And also the metric summary, so that quantifies its quality. So they need to check that absolute as well as the relative terms. So it means they need to verify regarding the previous release of the software. So if the previous release of the software, so when it is providing the more accuracy and consistency, so mainly when the software will be success means based upon the completeness, okay, and providing the more accuracy, completeness, accuracy as well as the performance has to be improved. Then we can compare with this previous release of the software here. Okay, so when you're comparing with the previous software, when these will be very high, then we can say that the updated version of the software is succeeded. Okay, and the result of the post-mortem review. So we need to verify about what is the, after delivering the software, we need to check that what are the outstanding issues and recommendations for the process and product improvement. And they need to address each and every data, and they need to sort out the defects will be happen during the software review. So here we have done some description, release description what will be there. The first one is the content. So during the context, we have the release baseline content and release metrics. So in this release baseline content and the metrics, they will have the evaluation criteria. So in this evaluation criteria, some points will be there. Based upon that, they need to verify about whether it is a major or the minor risk assessment will be there. The next one is release notes. So during the release notes, we need to check that what are the specific constraints or the limitations will be occurred. And the next one is release assessment results. So during the assessment results, they need to follow what are the plans. Is there any failed evaluation criteria out there? So that they need to minimize the failed evaluation criteria. If it is succeeded, then they can go for the recommendation for the next releases. So that's why they need to check that assessment results each and every data very clearly here. And the last one is outstanding issues. So outstanding issues is nothing but mainly it will be affecting the action items. And also they need to verify about the post-mortem. It means after releasing the software, so what are the main problems will be there, and they need to summarize the different types of the lessons learned here. So they need to keep a note that each and every data, what are the risks will be happening after releasing the software. And the next one is status assessment. So here in the status assessment, we know that it will be considering the periodic snapshots of the project health. It means it will be checking that what is the project health risk will be there, whether it is a low, medium as well as the high. And we need to know about the status of the project. So this project health includes that what is the major or the minor risk assessment will be there, and also providing the quality indicators. And next one is management indicators. Okay, so during this project health and status, so these are the main criteria checking the risk assessment will be, and the quality. So how much quality they are going to provide, and the management indicators, whether they need to agree for this status assessment or not. And also they need to verify about the period. So based upon, sometimes they may be decided 2 years. So based upon the risk assessment, it may be varied to 2 to 3 years. So that the functions needs to persist. And also here, good management process. So it means they need to have the expectations of all the stakeholders, like contractors, customers, users, and subcontractors. Has to be how consistency and completeness of the data to clear, to achieve this objective. And also here we can have the periodic status assessment, providing the critical mechanisms. So each and every having some expectations during the life cycle. So we need to address some issues and resolving some management issues, technical issues, and project risk, and also capturing some project history. So these are the main expectations for each and every one. So they need to address each and every evaluation criteria in a proper manner, and resolving the management issues, technical issues during the periodic status assessment. And we have the another one is typical status assessment. During this typical status assessment, we can review the resources, and also have the personal staffing and financial data. So during the financial data, they are going to check that what is the cost and revenue expectations, and they are going to verify about what are the top 10 risks will be happen, and technical progress means, so it will be taking down some metric snapshots, and major and minor milestones, plans and results, and total project or product scope, action items, and each and every data has to be how in the typical status assessment. Okay, so here we have it will be communication, how the open communication will be. So the information can be directly from ongoing activities as well as the evaluating the product configurations. And the next one is software change order database. So during this software change order database, so we need to manage what are the changes will be happen during the iterative development product. Okay, and we need to verify about the greater change freedom. The project can iterate to more productivity. So we need to update the product each and every time, and we need to verify that what is the consistency as well as the completeness, and to achieve the accuracy of the software product. And here the flexibility increases. So when you are changing the flexibility, then the content, the quality, as well as the number of iterations will be improved here. And so when you're giving the freedom of the changes, then process, practice based on the automations. So nowadays we are doing everything as a automations for the iterative development, so that it will be minimize the burden of the change management. And also when you go for the manual change management technique, then we can have the major inefficiency. So what is the difference between the manual change and automatic changes? Means during the manual changes, there we need to take the more number of constraints to to overcome these problems. Whereas automations, so it will be checking the what are the inefficiencies are there, and it will try to changes within stipulated time here. So that is the main difference between the change management, manual change management, as well as the process automatic change management. So whereas change management, sometimes we can have evaluation based upon the management artifact. So whether they need to go for the automation or go for the manual. So mainly the management will be deciding that to consist only the automation. Why means when you are considering for the automation, so the work will be performed very smoothly, and within the stipulated time it will be completing all the what are the risks will be there, it will be handled very smoothly here. So here the software is placed in a control baseline. All the changes must be firmly tracked and managed, so that the automatic data entry. So when you go for the automations, so it will be checking the data entry as well as maintaining the what are the change records will be there. So it will be collecting and it will be keeping the separate line. So whereas for the manual, it will time taking process. So it will handle more time taking, and it cannot handle in a proper manner here. And next one is deployment. Okay, so the deployment is the last. Here we need to follow some content can make many forms. How means depending it will be depending on the project. So they need to verify the several document subsets for transitioning the product into a operational status. And also they need to check that what is the contractual efforts, so that they need to separate the maintenance organization and also deployment artifacts, so that the computer system operation manuals and the software installation manuals, the plans and the procedures for cut over for the legacy. So legacy systems has to be verified, and site survey also they need to verify for the big contractual efforts. And here when you are considering for the commercial software products, they need to deploy these artifacts into the marketing plans, and what are the sales kits and training courses has to be provided for the commercial software products. And next one is environment. So they need to check that who are the target people and who are the trained people for this one, and check which will be very efficiency and maintaining the good environment here. The first one is the important emphasis of a modern approach is to define the development and maintenance. Okay, so after completion of the deployment, there we need to check that the development and the maintenance environment. So they need to provide the good maintenance for the artifacts of the process. So when we are achieving the robust means when you are providing the software development process in a automation manner. And also in the environment, they may be have some requirements management, visual modeling, document automation, host and target programming tools, and automated regression testing, and continuous and integrated change management, and finally is feature and defect tracking. So these are the things which will be happening during the environment. And next one is management artifact sequence. So this management artifact sequence will be checking each and every phase of the life cycle. So they're going to update the new artigraphs has to be produced, and they're going to verify about the previous one. So which all will be very, the updations is major. They're going to update for the new artigraphs here. So they're going to incorporate the updations of the new artigraphs and capture the what is the depth as well as the breadth of the solutions. So when they're going to update some artigraphs, they need to verify with the previous developed artigraph. So that based upon that, they need to understand whether if any problem will be occurred. So they need to check that what is the best solution for this one. And also they need to update the each and every major and minor milestones. So in this diagram, we can have the artigraph sequence. So here we can see we have the 4 phases are there. One is inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. So during this inception, so we have the one iteration will be there. In the elaboration, we have the 2 iterations will be there. In the constructions, we have the 3 iterations will be there, and final transition means deployment. We have the 1 iteration. So total 7 iterations will be there. So here it will be indicating that black color, it means it is in a control baseline, whereas white color, it indicates that it is in a informal versions. So there we need to check that what are the major changes during these management artigraphs. Okay, so the first one is management set. So during the management sets, there we can have the first one is work breakdown structure. Okay, the work breakdown structure means, so when they're going to handle the projects, first they're going to check that control baseline. Means the complexity of the work can be divided into a sub modules. And the elaboration, it will be controlled. So in the initial stage, each and every phases is controlled one. Whereas the business case, it means whether they need to take up this project or not. So they can have the different types of the business use cases will be there. So it is also controlled because they need to verify so how much profit they can gain during this business use cases. And next one is release specifications. In the release specification, as I told that initially they cannot provide the 100% of the software. So that's why it is an informal version. Okay, initially it is an informal version. So later on they're going to update the release specifications. So that's why for that release specifications also they are going to update for each and every phases. So finally it will be comes around in the control baseline. The next one is software development plan. So in the software development plan, we need to check that the documentation. So during the documentation, so each and everything is controlled only. And software and release description. Okay. So as I told that release description, initially they cannot provide the 100% of the software in a proper manner. So that's why during these stages, it is an informal versions only. So later on, after completion of the elaboration, so they are going to have the correct picture. So it is in a control base. So whereas status assessment, we know that status assessment each and every from the during the phases only they need to handle in a proper manner. So here you need to check that the risk assessment will be there and what are the formal and informal risk will be happen. So here that's why it is an informal version. Means they need to have a clear idea about each and every phases. And next one is software change order data. So software change order means so already they have some idea to update or to modify the software. And deployment documentations. These deployment documentations means it is in final stage. In the transition, so it will be succeeded. So it will be comes under the control. And environment. So those are the trained persons, skilled persons, and have the process automations. So it will come under the control. And next one is requirement sets. So during the requirement sets, they need to have the clear picture about the vision document. Okay, and have the different types of the requirements models and design sets. So initially they will draw the architecture Okay, so when they are going to discuss with the stakeholders, so it's an informal. So later on it will be the design of the architecture also will be they're going to change here. Okay, so there it will comes under the final control line. And test models during the stage only they cannot identify the what are the major risk and the minor risk here. So that's why finally during the deployment stage it will be comes under the control. The next one is architecture description. So architecture description also in the initial stage we cannot have the clear picture about the what is the main description about the architecture. Okay, and they're going to have the clear picture in the final stage. And implementation set. Implementation set is nothing but it will comes from the constructions. Okay, so here they can have the clear picture idea about the source code baseline, associated compile time files, and component executables. And the last one is the deployment set. So here on the deployment sets, we have discussed about the integrated product executable baselines, okay, and associated runtime files and have the user manuals. So here in the final stage, so when they're going to release the products, so they can have the clear documentation. The user manual is very important for the readers or the customers or the stakeholders or the different sub stakeholders. Okay, so they can have some clear picture how the how it will the product or the software will be works here. Okay, so this is the sequence across a typical articrafts of the life cycle. Okay.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.